So Sean is on, so I'm gonna add him to the live. Hi, Anthony. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. Hey, Sean.
Hey, what's up?
What's
Hold
up?
on, let me just make this a little bit higher.
Okay. So Sean is actually from What's in the Pot. He's on YouTube. He has a Facebook page. He has Instagram, and he's also
TikTok.
a foodie. He's a DJ. And today he's gonna show us how he makes his popular shrimp wontons. And he'll tell us a little bit about himself too. How you going,
Yeah,
Sean?
I'm good. I'm good. Just relaxing. Just trying to figure out the camera because for me, I'm a little
Okay.
bit taller than the average person. So I just want to make
I
sure at
can
least it
tell.
doesn't, I don't cut anything off.
Okay.
So how's it going?
Everything's good.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about what's in the pot
So
for the
what's in
new
the pot?
people.
So for everybody that doesn't know me, what's in the pot is me creating food that I like. Majority of it is Trinidadian food, or a little bit mixed, a little bit of Asian food, a little bit of Latin food.
I noticed
Um,
a lot of Latin food. You're in Florida, right?
I am, but before that, I was in Toronto. But for me, I always like Latin food. Like I always find it's
Okay.
very similar to our Trinidadian food, even with a lot of the
Mm.
seasonings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I always try to like kind of combine the both. And even when you look at a lot of like certain Trinidadian dishes, it
Yeah.
comes from like I guess the Trinidadian history of that. So for me, I kind of always like fusing the both and just kind of playing with the recipes, whether it's a Latin recipe but use Trinidadian ingredients or or vice versa.
Yeah.
And then I like to do a lot of like Southern U.S. food and like Cajun food, and I love to
It's
do a lot of
spicy, it's
barbecue.
spicy like our food. So,
hmm Yeah, I
yeah.
always found that like growing up when you'd watch like shows where they're doing like cooking shows where they're doing like Cajun food and like
Mm.
it's like rice and red beans. I was like, but that's such a staple in Trinidadian food.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's nice
so
because when I moved here also, I started, that's where I find all my West Indian ingredients in the Spanish grocery.
hmm well here too, especially because I'm in Tampa, so Central Florida. There's a lot
Okay.
of Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, and Puerto Ricans and Dominicans they season their food almost exactly like us. They make a
So free.
sofrito,
Yeah.
which is shadow benny, cilantro, onion, garlic. Sometimes they put peppers and stuff in it. So usually I'll go to like the Puerto Rican grocery, the Dominican grocery, and you'll get all the shadow benny, all the ingredients that you
Yeah.
need to make any Trinidadian dish possible. And they even have
Yeah.
like, most of them they always have like a little Trinidadian section as well. So even if you really need a curry or anything like that, you could go always get that from there.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about what you're gonna cook for us. Give us a little rundown, and what makes your dish, what makes this shrimp wonton unique.
So wontons, I think everybody loves wontons. It's like one of them dishes like pylori. It's like once you start eating, you can't stop.
It
So for
Moorish.
me,
It's Moorish. Every time you
exactly,
eat one, you have to eat the next one.
exactly. So for me with wontons, it was one of those dishes where growing up, it's one of the first fried things I learned how to make.
Oh,
Because it's simple, and it doesn't take much to make wontons. Like you can get a pack of shrimp or some chicken or some ground meat, and a pack of wontons is only like $1 or two. You throw in all your
okay.
seasonings and fry it. So I guess what I try to do with mine, I like to season the shrimp, and for me with my wontons, and I posted a video about it before, was I like to kind of mince up the shrimp itself.
Yeah.
Some people, they'll put like a whole piece of shrimp. I like to
And
mince the
for
shrimp.
me, I don't know if you've ever had it in some of the restaurants in Trinidad. They put the whole shrimp. For me, I
Mhm.
like it that way. My husband likes when I either chop up the shrimp or I mince it in the food processor. So I guess you're gonna mince yours today, right?
Yeah, so when I first started making wontons, that's how I did it was put it in the
Okay.
put the whole shrimp and wrap it and
Yeah.
fry it. But then playing around with the recipe and stuff, I started trying to mince it up, like chop it up and mince it up.
Yeah.
And then I noticed like if I mince it up and I add like a little sesame oil, a little green seasoning,
Yeah.
it keeps the flavor inside the wonton. So when you bite into it, you get a lot of flavor, not just the shrimp. Because I find if you just season the whole shrimp and you fry it, you kind of lose a little bit of that in
True.
the in the oil itself, it kind of a little bit of it leaks out.
Yeah.
So that I guess that's kind of one of the things that I try to do different with my wontons is like try to
Yeah.
put a lot of seasoning in shrimp. So when you're eating it, you taste the
You get
seasoning,
a
you
little
taste all
bite
the
of
flavor.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
not
like
just
your
the
green
dipping sauce.
seasoning. The way you make your green seasoning is just how I like mine. It's chunky and it's not runny and very liquidy. I like
Yeah,
it more chunky.
that's why I did that recipe the other day because my first one was kind of like, I guess how a lot of people at home is just make the green seasoning,
Yeah,
just
blend it
blend
up
up
with some
everything and
vinegar.
put it in a
Yeah.
bottle. And that's the
Yeah.
green seasoning I grew up with because anytime you just take a spoon out and just throw it in whatever.
Yeah.
But then I find after a while, you lose the shadow benny flavor. You lose the scent of the shadow benny and whatever other things you use. Like you still get the flavor, but it doesn't have that strong flavor. But when I started doing it like this, probably last couple of years, started trying it like this, like pressing it out
Yeah.
and keeping it flat. And it's a lot easier to do too because when you're cooking, you just break off a piece and you're good to go.
Hmm.
I know some
Um,
people put it in ice cubes too.
yeah, you could store it like that. So we get one question. Abby Star says, she heard so much about people seasoning with sesame oil, and she wonders if she should season it also. She
Yeah,
says
I actually
she tasted fried shrimp that had so much sesame oil.
I put a little bit, so I'll show you once I start doing mine. I like to put a little bit of sesame oil in it. So once I season it, I'll put a little bit of sesame oil, a little bit of green seasoning, a little bit of flavoring, just so when you bite into it, you get that flavor of sesame oil. Because I find for me, with the trend with any kind of Asian food, I find sesame oil is the binding
Key, yeah,
flavor.
the key,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for
So
me, I
before,
like to put a little bit.
okay. So let me start then.
Yeah. All right. Give me one second. Let me get the shrimp. So I was hoping that the camera would get the rest of the table, but
Oh,
for
okay.
whatever reason, it didn't work out that way. So I'll show everybody here. So this is a shrimp. So just regular, any kind of, this is, I think it's the black shrimp that I
Okay.
use.
Tiger.
The one thing not to use is like the pre-cooked shrimp. It's better to do the raw shrimp. And then shrimp cooks so quickly too when you're
Yeah. Once it
cooking it.
drops in the hot oil, it cooks.
Yeah, it cooks
So,
instantly. So
Judy Hilton said, "Hey, I just had wontons from Mantra. So Mantra is a nightclub and lounge in New York. They make some of the best wontons.
mhm.
So yeah. So she was just telling me that she just had wontons from there.
I don't think I mean, I've had a good few Trinidadian or Chinese foods from New York, but I never had mantra.
Oh,
I haven't been to New York in a while.
oh,
I used to go there when I used to DJ a lot
okay.
back in the day. So I haven't been
Okay.
there probably 4 years maybe.
Oh, hmm.
Okay, so let's start getting this shrimps ready. So the first thing is we'll go with a little bit of green seasoning. So green seasoning, and I said in the recipe 2 stalks of green onions. You really don't need 2 stalks,
Okay.
but I'll probably do about 1 stalk of green onions. So I have the green onions in here.
Chop it fine.
Yeah, let me see if I could just adjust this camera down a little bit so everybody could see.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining in. So Sean, I keep thinking about saying Sean, but it's Sean. Sean is showing
Yes.
us how to make wontons. So we won't be able to respond to all of the comments, but thank you so much for joining in. Hey
So,
Badawi from
hey,
Eat Food Online.
I,
Thanks for
him
joining
and I
in.
supposed to collaborate a long time now. I don't know what he waiting on these days. He
Well,
too
yes,
busy cooking.
second Dawi.
So I have the green onions. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper, and just
Okay.
use. For me, I find salt and pepper just is always just for taste.
Yeah,
You don't need to add too much.
yeah.
So I'll show you. So this is this here. So this is sesame oil.
Okay.
So I just use like probably a teaspoon.
Okay, you
So you don't
eyeball
want
it.
to add,
So do you
yeah.
have like a favorite brand that you like?
I honestly, since there used to be this one brand, I think it's the same brand that makes the oyster sauce, Lecom. This is
Yeah,
the
that's
brand I used to
mine
use
too.
in Toronto, but here in Tampa, it's either you go to the Asian market, but close to me, like I'll just pick up whatever Walmart has, and this one is some Imperial Dragon, and so
Okay.
far it's pretty good. I mean, you still get the taste, you still get the flavor.
Yeah.
So I'm not too picky on it, but the Lecom brand for me, like with the soya sauce and the oyster sauce and the hoisin sauce, to me that's like the brand that I use the most.
Yeah. I like the Kaduya brand also. Somebody say, can we see what Sean is doing? He'll show you
Yeah,
all just
give
now.
me
Yeah.
1 sec. Let me see if I can figure this out and try to get this a little bit down. I'll pull that up. I don't know if you can see. Hold on 1 sec.
Okay.
I
That
guess
should
this
be
is a
good.
little bit better. Instagram Live doesn't work when you're 6'6". That's my
You're 6'6"?
yeah. So it doesn't work well when it is tall.
It must
So
be
this
hard for you in the kitchen, right?
it is, but you cut. Hold on, it cuts off my head.
Okay, it's good there.
Yeah. All right. So I'll stoop down and do this.
That's
So,
fine. Hope it's
so
not
this,
too much.
no. So this is soy sauce. So the soy sauce I'm actually using is the Chief brand soy sauce from Calbu Box that I got. It's the one with the garlic soy sauce. So I like because it's either you put a little bit of garlic or you put a lot in
Yeah.
the actual seasoning, but I like the flavor that the soy sauces give.
Okay.
So probably a little bit less than a teaspoon. Next thing, so we have our green seasoning, our soy sauce, salt and pepper. Trying to think what else I said that I put in this. I think that's about it because you just want to keep it simple, and you don't want to put too much. But I
Yeah.
find the flavor that you'll get really from everything would be from the green seasoning, the sesame oil, and the soy sauce.
And then
That
you
will
want
kind
the
of bound.
natural shrimp flavor also.
Yeah, you don't want to overpower it.
Yeah.
So me, I like to mix everything with my hand. So
Okay.
the best
True
thing to
to
do,
style.
some people like I always think like, some people when they doing recipes and stuff, it's like you use gloves and stuff, especially when you watch all the barbecue recipes. But I
Yeah.
find you still like you want to get your hands in there. You
You
want to
want to
make
feel it.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah, you want to make sure you feel it, and you get, especially when you're doing like meat. You want to make sure all these seasons, especially if you're seasoning chicken, you want to make sure all these seasoning kind of gets in there. So
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do is put this in the food processor.
Okay. But I always say you had to touch the food. That is so true. You have to have like a connection with your food.
Well,
Exactly. You have to be intimate with the food.
I know, Badawi, that's how he does makey bread.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
you have to
intimate.
rough it up. So, and then when you put in the food processor, you don't need to make it like a puree. You just want to chop
Yeah.
it a little bit.
You're salting it, right?
Let's see.
Everyone. Hey Ryan, Sweetan. Hi Trini Bella. Thanks for joining everyone. Sean is chopping up the shrimp for the wonton. So he just put it in the food processor and he pulsed it a few times. And now he will
So this
do
is there.
nice,
So
nice
it's
texture.
still chunky, but it's not
Yeah.
too much of a paste.
Okay.
So what I usually do if I'm doing it like beforehand, I like to put it in the fridge a little bit
Okay.
and let it get a little bit more firm. It depends
And
on, I guess, the
and to dry
texture.
so it sticks together, yeah.
But we're doing it live, so
Yeah.
and then
If
you
you're
still
doing
get
this at home, I guess you could let it set in the fridge for a bit.
yeah. And then what I've done in the past too is when you actually make the wontons, like say if you're making a lot and you want
Yeah.
to keep like when you go to a restaurant and you see them. It's like a perfect shape.
Yeah.
What one of my friends told me before was that a lot of these Chinese restaurants, they will make them, put them in a
Yeah.
tray, and
And
then
leave it in
freeze
the
it.
fridge.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
so it stays perfect. So when you fry it, it always has that shape. Because when you make it at
Yeah.
home, you fry it, it might change a little bit. It
Yeah.
doesn't. The fold doesn't come out exactly the
But
same.
now that you mentioned that, when you go to some of the restaurants, not over here, but in Trinidad, I noticed you would see the ladies in the back wrapping the wontons,
Hmm.
like I guess to put it in the fridge, and
Yeah.
then they would have them like like just pre-wrapped in like a little bowl or something. So when they have an order, they just pull out a bowl and fry it up.
Yeah, I used to DJ at a Caribbean restaurant in Toronto, and
Okay.
at the end of the night, you got to go in the back to get your pay. So
Um,
when you go in the back, you see all the little tricks that
or
they have, like
behind
all
the
the
scenes.
yeah, you see all the rice that they have set up ready for for when an order comes in, or you see the wontons and all the trays, and I'm like, oh, that's how they do it.
Um,
So the next thing is wrapping the wontons. So
you
when you
use
wrap your wonton,
sorry,
wh-
you use the
no,
Sensei's brand,
which one?
the Sensei's brand
For
wrapper.
the one?
Yeah.
Nah, this one is Frida's.
Oh, okay, because I don't get a wide variety of wrappers here.
This is the first thing I saw in Walmart, to be
Oh,
honest.
okay.
But I
I've
find there's
seen that brand Frida's. They sell
yeah.
the Carolina Reaper peppers and the ghost peppers.
Didn't you? I think you did do a post on that before,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Now that you show me that, now I remember it's that brand.
Yeah, I guess when you like in Toronto and even New York, right?
Yeah.
The amount of Asian food and the options you have is a wide variety. Here in
Mm.
Florida, there's not a lot, like I was saying, unless you specifically go to like Chinese market or Asian market, then you'll get stuff. But other than that, like you just go into Walmart here and you just pick up what you have. But in Toronto, is like you go to Walmart, there you have like every single Asian brand. You can get anything from Trinidad.
Okay.
Even some of the groceries in Toronto, you can get catch in just like regular big name grocery stores. So it's interesting to see the dynamic. But here, the good thing is if you need more of that Latin food or Caribbean, like essentials like provisions and stuff like that, everywhere you go has it.
The Spanish market, yeah.
Yeah. Or even Walmart, they always have a good selection of plantain and cassava and stuff like that. So it's a good and a bad because you miss certain things, but then at the same time you have the option to get things that you normally don't get and
Yeah.
at a lot cheaper price. Because like I know plantains and stuff here is super cheap, like 25 cents for one. Avocados
Um,
when they're in season is like sometimes 33 cents, 40 cents for one, and it's good
um,
avocados. So I guess in Texas is kind of the same thing too, right?
yeah,
You get
in Texas we have cheap avocados too because I mean they come in right from Mexico. So
yeah. Yeah, I guess when you live further up north, it takes longer for everything to get there.
yeah.
So the prices. So
So now you're gonna show us how you wrap the wontons.
yes.
Okay.
Just gonna bring this up a little bit
Then I'll
closer.
bring you a little closer to his workstation there. So tell us what you need. You need a bowl of water, or yeah, a bowl of water with a brush.
I just use my hand.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, now I thought I saw a brush there. Yeah, I use my finger and I just put the water on the two ends.
Yeah. So give me one second. Let me get a better view so you guys can see. I have my wife as the camera woman.
Okay, nice. Thanks, camera woman, for
She said
helping us.
thanks. And
Um,
she's from your area too.
yeah, I remember you were telling me. That's so cool.
Because I think it was the fried chicken video
Yeah,
you
Crystal.
posted. She's like, oh, that's my area. So
So you want to explain just for people who probably
yeah.
never made one done?
So you put meat or your shrimp in the middle. And you can see the color of the shrimp. You can see that it has a little bit of the green seasoning, has a little bit of green onion. It has the color of the soy sauce and sesame oil. Now, I'll show you one way. When I was small or when I first started, I used to just fold it like a triangle like this. Oh, you guys can see that. So that's one way to fold it. That's the easiest way to fold it.
That's how I was taught. That's how my dad taught me to fold it.
Yeah. And then when you go to the restaurant, you're like, yo, how do you fold it like that?
Yeah, they do it so neat and nice. It looks so perfect.
So then the other way.
So in a
And you make sure
triangle,
when you fold it, you make sure you want to get all the
get all
air
the
out of it.
air
Because the worst thing is if you have some air and you get some oil in there and you bite into
and it
that.
pop open. That is the worst.
And how's the other way? And then you fold it in the middle and you do it like this.
Like a boat or like a
Yeah.
hat. Yeah.
The boat or the hat. That's the other way.
Oh,
You could
look how easy that
flip it
was.
back up.
And
Let
I
me
just
do
tried
one more
to
and
do
I'll show
that.
you. You know what? It was, I won't lie. I went on YouTube one day and I was like, yo, how do these people fold, how do these
Yeah.
restaurants fold these wontons like that? Because it used to be, in a way, it's like in the back of my head, it would bother me because I'm like, yo, I want to fold it just like that.
Yeah, I want it to look like the restaurant. I think I'm gonna make one done soon. You're inspiring me to make one done.
This
Next
is,
week.
for me, like, I've always found like wontons, even growing up, like, it was always like a fun thing to make, like a
Because it's
fun,
too hands-on. Like you could get your hands in it and you
yeah.
feel like you're doing something.
Or as I got older, like when I was lying with my friends and we playing cards or, just chilling out or whatever, this is the easiest thing to do. Just go in the grocery, pick up some shrimp or pick up some ground meat and make your wonton. So once you fold it
Yeah.
to,
When you used to line with your friends and them, you used to be the cook or what?
yeah, to be
Okay.
honest, a lot of my friends now, they now know how to cook. And if any of them on there, they never used to want to touch meat. They never used to want to clean meat. You could pull it back up.
So you
They
was
never used, I was the one that would cook, either make like pepper shrimps or make curry or pilau and stuff. Now all of them, they say they're big cook, whatever. But I remember before when we'd be like, all right, I need somebody to cut up the chicken. And they'd be like, they'll put on gloves to cut up the chicken because they didn't want to touch the chicken. Pull the top part back away, up a
It's
bit
like
more.
you say now all of them want to play big cook.
Yeah. Now everybody know how to cook, but 20 years ago, nobody know how to cook. So, I mean, it's a good thing though if you know how to cook.
Yeah. It's nice to see men who cook.
I learned to cook. Well, both my parents cook. They actually used to have like a little restaurant back home too in
Oh,
Grandy, but
Brandy?
at the yeah. So that's
Okay.
where hence the name Sean Grande.
Oh, okay. Now
Not
I've
not only the not only the fact that I'm big, like I'm bigger than everybody else, but
yeah.
also because I'm from Grandy.
Oh, for some reason I thought that was your real last name. I don't know.
A lot of people think that is my real last name, but nobody's questioned it. But it's really because I'm from Grandy.
Okay. Now I know.
But yeah. So I learned like on weekends and stuff. Like both my parents especially on a Sunday, they would be cooking. So they would either be cooking like if my dad is really good at like Trinidad Chinese food. So whether it's
Mm.
fried rice, Trinidad style chow mein with the steamed veggies and chicken and stuff like that. So I would learn from him, like watching them cook the different meals or whatever. And then eventually it got to the point, hey, give me a hand, help me out in the kitchen. And then it went from there,
So
learning their different recipes.
somebody said Grandy in the house, and then next 868 Tanti says I thought that was his real name too. So now, so since you just talked about your parents, that's why I wanted to ask you like who inspired you to cook and who are your role models?
So for cooking wise, how I started actually cooking was I was a kid that I never used to like anything. Like if my mom make spinach or bhaji or karaili or even any of that stuff, I never liked to eat it. So for me, she's like, look, if you don't want to eat what I make, learn to cook. So
Hmm.
I would stick around in the kitchen and learn how to cook. So I started with um, like ramen noodles.
Okay.
But what I would do with the ramen noodles is instead of putting like making it like a soup, I would
Mhm.
strain out the noodles, then throw it in a frying pan, cut up all hot dogs or whatever meat I have
Yeah.
lying around the house, add some soy sauce, sesame oil, and start making my own chow mein from there. And then even like little things like the classic Trinidad breakfast hot dogs with a little bit of sausage and sauce
Yeah.
with ketchup and onion and pepper. So learning little stuff like that, and then as I would stick around in the kitchen watching them, cook, then they'd be like, okay, season up some chicken or season up some kind of meat or something. So kind of learning from there, and then just kind of being around them in the kitchen and just kind of picking up different things. Now I just say I just make the best pepper shrimp. That's the,
Nice.
the that's the conversation between me and my dad because he still thinks he's make the best pepper shrimps.
Nice.
So like
That's
role
cool.
model
That's
wise, I
cool when you
guess,
could bond. That's cool when you could bond with your parents over food.
yeah. I think every with us, I think with myself, I think out of like because I have a brother and a sister, but I'm the one that kind of picked up the cooking. Because
Okay.
my older brother, he's a fry egg kind of person. Like he could cook, but he's more like a bread and fry egg. Or my sister,
Okay.
she'll try to make like recipes that you might see on like Instagram and stuff like that. Whereas like everyday cooking for me, I was the one that kind of picked up onto that and
Okay.
just kind of learn how to cook just to survive.
So, are your siblings tall like you, or are you the tallest?
I'm the tallest. My sister, I guess, is
Too tall?
not super tall, like probably 5'6", 5'7", maybe tall for a
Okay.
girl. My
Okay.
brother's around 6 feet tall, but
Okay.
out of my family, I'm the tallest. But on my mom's side, all the guys are tall. Like I think the shortest cousin or uncles maybe like 5'10",
Oh,
and then
okay.
it goes all the way up to my height. So everybody's pretty tall. Even
Wow.
some of the aunts are pretty tall too.
Because I'm thinking, because each generation, the children come out taller. Because my
Hmm.
husband's dad is 6 feet, he's 6'2", and then usually, if you have a child, the child is taller. So if you have a child, he's probably gonna be taller than you.
Yeah, that I'm excited about that. Maybe he'll be in the
He'll be,
NBA.
yeah, I'm just about to say that.
But no,
That's cool.
yeah, because I think it was my mom's grandfather. He was really tall. He was like 6'4". So I guess a lot of the guys on the family kind of just get those genes.
Cool. Okay, let me talk about the food now. So you're wrapping the wontons.
So
How much do you
wrapping,
make?
I will do. Let's see. For the sake of time, I'll probably do about maybe 10 or 15.
Okay, cool.
Because wrapping a whole pack of wonton skins
Is
will
that a
take the
lot?
whole day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to like do some beforehand because I wanted to show everybody exactly how to make everything in the sense
And
of
how
either,
quick it is, right?
yeah, because I mean, while I'm talking, you're rapping. I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of like is the perfect dish if you have
It's a
friends
big
over.
lion dish. You see, we all
Yeah,
talking, you're rapping. You could be playing
exactly.
cards. You could be doing something, just liming. And
Yeah,
back in the days when you were with your friends, and they liming and have you cooking.
yeah, exactly.
So, what's your favorite dish, Sean?
My favorite dish is rice, red beans, and stewed chicken.
Okay.
I could eat that every single day. And I'll maybe switch out the red beans for like maybe some black beans or maybe lentils. But that combination, I could never get sick of it.
Nice. Okay, so 27 I've says he wants to see it up close, but instead of moving the camera, you could probably just put a
Yeah,
little
I'll
bit in
zoom
the
in.
middle and put your hand closer to to the camera. Yeah.
You can see that. And then I'll show you. I'll do a closer version with the wrapping.
Sally says she needs some steamed wontons in her life right now.
I have not made steamed wontons in a very long time. So if everybody could see here.
Yes.
So once you fold it
So you fold it into a triangle.
into a triangle and
Get
get
the
all the
edges.
air out. So once you have a triangle, you wet both ends like this, pinch the middle. So you wet both ends, pinch the middle, and then squeeze it together.
You kind of
And
overlap it. Overlap.
yeah.
Yeah, right. And it's like a hat shape, like a
Yeah,
hat or a boat,
boat, whatever
whichever
you
way
want to
you look
call it.
at it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do a couple more and I'll get this oil to get hot. So how is the transition from New York to Houston? How do you
Well,
find it?
I mean, it's good so far, but I feel like as soon as we moved here is when this pandemic hit. So we really didn't get to enjoy it. Like, get to do a lot of things that we wanted to do.
Hmm.
Like enjoy the first summer being in Texas and go to the state fair and stuff. We didn't get to do that because of the pandemic, but we always have next year.
Yeah, hopefully, I mean, the pandemic, I think the main thing is as long as everybody wear a mask and just protect themselves as we give it time, it
Low.
should we should be okay eventually.
Yeah.
But I know how you feel because this year, this would have been last year was the first year we were in Tampa. And so we did some stuff. And then we said, this year coming up, we plan on doing a bunch of different road trips, going down to the
Oh, that's
Keys,
good.
doing all these different things. And then it's like when the pandemic hit, it's just like, you might as well just stay inside the house.
Yeah. But the pandemic was good in a way too because, you get to build stronger relationships and do things you probably haven't done in a while.
I will say I shot a lot more cooking, more videos, like my social media and the YouTube channel
Yeah.
was absolutely way more consistent than before, just because I have the time. And
Yeah.
then it's, before I'd kind of plan out what I was going to cook or whatever, but now it's like whatever I'm cooking every day of the week, I'll video it just in case,
Yeah.
it's something to use. So you have a little bit of an archive to go back to and be like, you're not rushing to cook something week to week, or you have a little bit of a
Yeah.
catalog to use.
But what's your most cooked dish during this pandemic?
Um, I don't know. I would say of recently, the one thing I cook a lot is a lot of sweet potatoes. So like sweet potatoes, either a couple times I put them on the grill or mash or baked or make wedges and just try different flavor combinations and either have it with like salmon or like burgers,
Nice.
stuff like that. And probably rice and some kind of beans and maybe pasta. I think those are the three things. Plus, those were the three things that you could get in the grocery store
Which
at
sweet
one
potato?
point in time.
Which sweet potato you like to use? The Korean one or the ones they call yam here?
Um, the regular, I guess the regular American sweet potatoes. So
The
they just
orange one.
yeah, those
Yeah.
ones. I use those ones a lot, just for like everyday stuff.
Okay.
Whether it's like, if I was trying to cut back on the amount of carbs and stuff. So I know sweet potatoes was good. So it was one of those things that's like you can't really get sick of it because there's multiple ways to do it.
Yeah.
So it was from when the pandemic hit, sweet potatoes was there. So and then rice, and you can't go wrong with rice. There's millions of ways you could do rice,
Yeah.
fry rice. So
I love
that was one of
rice.
the
I can
things.
eat rice every day. I haven't had roti in months, but rice, I love rice.
I'm not so much of a roti person.
Me too.
Um, so I don't eat wheat. Like I don't personally eat so much roti, but my wife made some dal puri and stuff. I'm not dal puri, bus up shot recently. So we had roti for a good little while, and then
Okay.
whatever was left, you could just freeze it. But I think consistently, it's always like rice or pasta or some kind of like provisions, something like that. We try to cook all the time.
Nice.
Give me 1 second and let me get this. Completely forgot to get the strainer. So you guys can't see the wok, but it's right here.
Oh, okay. We can see the top of it.
Oh yeah, if you could bring it over. So there it is. You guys can see inside? Tilt it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And
That's
be
a nice
careful when you put in these. This one is, I use this one a lot in the videos because it's electric. So I don't always have
okay.
to have this set up in the
It's nice.
in like
Look.
right in front of the stove. So it makes it a lot easier, especially when you're doing videos.
Yeah, it looks heavy. It looks like a nice heavy wok.
I think the brand.
Sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I
Yeah.
said I think the brand it's called is The Rock. They make like different iron pots and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Somebody asked what type of oil you're using.
I'm using canola.
Canola.
I
Okay.
I know some people you could use different kinds of oil or whatever.
Yeah.
For frying stuff like this or frying chicken, I'll just use canola oil or vegetable
Yeah.
oil.
Yeah.
Everyday cooking is usually olive oil or grapeseed oil.
That's good. Yeah.
Oil's a little hot. Yeah, so everyday cooking, yeah, I'll try to use a little bit more of a healthier oil. But I mean, if you're making wontons, you're not trying to really be healthy at this point in
Yeah.
time. So
True.
you just use
True.
canola oil or yeah, and usually like it's canola or like vegetable oil that you can get in like the big jugs. That's a lot cheaper. So it's oil that you're not gonna really use all the
Use
time anyway.
often. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know some people when they like their wontons a little bit more on the lighter side. I like it a little crispy.
Crispy. Okay. And
Plus, you
wontons
want to
are best.
make sure
Sorry, they're best eaten hot, right? Like as soon as they come out of the oil.
as soon as they come out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's also not good if you eat it as soon as they come out because you might burn your mouth. But
Yeah. Trust me, I really like this. Like I just grab it as it come out and then I pay the price later on.
I am the exact same way.
Like you just have to have it when it's steaming hot. I don't know, that's
So
just
that's
me.
the wontons there.
Looking good. That's a nice color, a nice golden brown color.
Yeah, not too crispy, but still nice golden color where everything inside cooked and you get a little bit
That
of
was
the
like
extra
about
crunch.
2.5 minutes, right?
About 2.5 minutes or so. You could
You
flip it
have the
back.
heat on what? Medium, high?
This one has a gauge like temperature, so I always cook
Okay.
around 300, 350.
250, okay.
So about the same cooking time you would do with or temperature you would do with like pylori or fried chicken,
Yeah.
about 350 degrees.
So do you do most of the cooking in the house?
I do.
Okay. So your wife is very lucky.
I cook. She say you're very lucky because I do I do mostly dinner cooking. My wife cooks mostly
Okay.
breakfast.
Fresh.
She's
Okay.
good with like pancakes, eggs, omelets, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
She's the queen of that.
Okay.
Me, I'm good with the dinner stuff.
Okay. And I see you like to barbecue too.
I barbecues like I think besides eating like rice, red beans, and stewed chicken, barbecue is one of the things I could probably eat all the time too.
Yeah.
I could never get enough barbecue.
Yeah. Nice.
So while this stuff is frying, we'll start making the dipping sauce.
Mm. So y'all see how quick Sean put together these wontons from start to finish. And now he's gonna show you how to make the sauce.
Look how
Wow, those look
crispy and
perfectly
crunchy that
crispy.
look. This
Okay.
wonton skin I like the brand. It fries up really nice.
Okay, so
It
I'm actually going to Walmart tonight. I'll look for it for that one.
Yeah, it's in the, I guess wherever like they have a lot of the vegan
The,
stuff.
yeah, the wrappers.
Yeah, they have the wrappers. I think that's the same brand as egg roll wrappers too.
Okay. Yeah.
So for the sauce, let me just turn this a little bit this way. So for the sauce, ketchup,
Okay. These are all Trini
and
kind of oyster sauce you're gonna make, right?
yeah. So ketchup, about a cup, eyeball.
Yeah.
Soya sauce, about a teaspoon, eyeball.
That's how you know a true cooker. You just eyeball everything.
Sesame oil, you do about a little drop.
Yeah.
And then, even with, probably within the last year, I started adding the ingredients to my videos. Because
Okay.
before, everything would just be eyeball, or somebody would be like, oh, how'd you come up with that recipe? I was like,
Yeah.
I kind of just come up with it on the fly. And if I
Yeah.
record it and it came out good, I'll use it.
Same here. That's how I started cooking. Like I just add a little bit of this, I add a little bit of that. And then
Mm.
eventually I had to start writing down and using measuring spoons and measuring cups just to see like how much was enough.
Well,
It took
that's
a
like
while.
yeah, because what was it? The green seasoning video. I was like, how do I do a green seasoning video to explain? Like, somebody might be
Like
like,
how
all
much
right, I'll
of
throw some of this. So that's why when the last one I did I posted this week, I
yeah.
actually chopped up all the things and put it so it's 1 cup of this, 1 cup of
Yeah.
that, 2 cups of this, just to
For
make it a
me,
little bit more simple.
for me, I couldn't come up I couldn't do the cup measure, so I just did it by the pound. I was
Hmm
like, just do a 1-to-1 ratio, like 1 pound of this, 1 pound of that.
hmm Yeah, you could do that too. I forgot to add, so added some green
Green.
seasoning into there, some oyster sauce. And the oyster sauce, you don't need to add too much. Maybe about a teaspoon, teaspoon and a half is really the flavor. If you have hoisin on hand, you could use hoisin instead. I like to use both. And then you can't have wonton sauce without any pepper
Pepper.
sauce.
Yeah.
So the pepper I use in is the habanero brand,
Scorpion.
the square, but this is the lime one. I like the
Lime.
lime one for when you're doing with a little bit of
Seafood.
seafood. Yeah,
Yeah.
and this one is just like a pinch.
Okay.
Because I eat pepper, my wife doesn't eat pepper.
Oh,
So
okay.
when I cook, I always put a lot of pepper on the side for my food.
Okay.
But if I'm making like chicken or because I'm the only one that eats meat, she's a pescatarian, so she only eats
Oh,
seafood.
okay.
So a lot of times when you see if I do videos and I make like scorpion pepper wings or whatever, it's really only just for me.
Okay. Is it tough like cooking different dishes like for separate or you've got
Um,
used to it?
I got used to it. I think
Okay.
because I got used to it because at home, my older brother, he's like straight up vegetarian. He's been vegetarian his whole life.
Oh, okay.
Um, so I got used to seeing like the different things like my mom would make for him. So I just kind of got used to making different types of veggie food. And
Yeah.
then the big thing is, at least she eats seafood. So seafood, it's always easy to find. You can do salmon, you can do shrimp, you can do any kind of fish. So it's still not as tough as cooking like complete vegetarian.
Yeah. Because why I
So
ask you that, my husband and I are similar. Like I don't really like meat that often, but I just force myself to eat it because I don't want to cook two separate things sometimes. I just
mm,
want to cook one meal. I don't like to be too difficult.
uh,
Like, but yeah, I think I'll start making my own. Because I don't really feel like eating meat these days for some reason.
for me, it's certain. Like I know over the years, like I kind of reduce the amount of meat. Like so, if I make say stew, I might only do about maybe about half a chicken. I'll cut
Yeah.
up like those small chickens and cut up half of it. And that stew, like whatever I make, that might last me about maybe 3 days or maybe more
Oh,
because I don't eat, for me, I don't eat a lot. Um, but I think just before, you'd eat like if I make half a chicken, I could eat half a chicken, but it's just kind of like the portion, so you don't feel like eating it as much
Yeah.
as, I think as you're younger, I think as you get older, you realize well, I mean, really, you shouldn't be eating so much meat, but secondly, you just kind of realize, you gotta, everything in portions.
Yeah. True.
The only thing I don't portion control is chicken wings.
Chicken
Chicken
wings.
wings are and fried chicken. Fried chicken, here, is there Publix in Texas?
Nah.
Publix grocery store?
Nah. We
So
have
here in
HEB.
Florida,
HEB is similar to Publix.
so I don't know if HEB fried chicken is good, but Publix here, like their fried chicken, they have like a spicy chicken wings and just their regular fried chicken. It beats Popeyes. It beats any of the fried chicken chains around.
I've been
Like after
to Publix, but I don't remember ever having their chicken wings.
their chicken wings, their spicy chicken wings is amazing.
Okay,
Like
so
it's
I
one
have
of
to
the
put that on
the
my list
best chicken.
then. When I come
Is
to Florida, I have to check that out.
Yeah. Well, when you come, we definitely have to do a collaborate. We'll do a in-person collaboration.
For sure. You said you're in Tampa, right?
Yeah.
Tampa, so that's like close to Busch Garden.
Yeah. Well, Busch Gardens is more downtown Tampa, so I'm in this
Okay.
other end of the city. But yeah, Busch Gardens is down here, and then Orlando is probably like about an hour and a half away. But
Yeah.
yeah, Publix, their fried chicken and their chicken, their subs is like the
I've had
best.
their subs and I've had their sweet tea.
Yeah, their sweet tea is good too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people don't realize, like, for a grocery store, their fried chicken would be good. It might be average, it might be decent, but for some reason, whatever they do to fry this fried chicken
Hmm.
is like one of the best fried chicken I've ever had.
Maybe it's fried in Crisco, who knows?
What's that?
I think maybe it's fried in Crisco.
It could be. Who knows what they fry it in? But they
Yeah.
also do a chicken sub where it's their same fried chicken, but the tenders,
Okay.
and it tastes just like the fried chicken, but it's the tender pieces. They chop it up and they'll put it in like a bowl or a bag and cover it with hot sauce and mix it up and then throw it in the sub. So
Wow.
that
Okay, I have
is
to try that out.
that
I
is
really have to try
one
that.
of the best.
Why don't you try
So
to recreate that?
that's a good one. I should try.
Yeah.
I have to figure out what the secret is to their
So
fried
here
chicken.
now, you had to go make friends with the Publix people who
Yeah.
work in the deli section and be like, this is really good. I think I could figure out your secrets and then guess things and then maybe they'll
Or,
tell you.
or just get a job there for a week, just
Yeah, you
to,
could do
just to learn
that.
how to make the fried chicken. That
Yeah.
would work too. Because,
Yeah.
or just if you go to you just stick around long enough. So I chopped up some green onion to add
Okay.
into the sauce. Give me one. And then what I like to do is those are frying. So you can see here, wontons in the bowl.
Are you gonna do a mini mukbang for us?
I
Eating the
should.
wonton?
Yeah. And I'll show you guys.
Nice.
So you got the sauce, the green onions. And then I think when you're making the sauce, if you're putting the soy sauce or the sesame oil, once it gets that dark color,
Yeah.
you're good. So hopefully one of these wontons, let me grab one of these from the bottom because I don't want to burn them.
Sean's gonna do a little mukbang for us. You're gonna bite into it so we can hear the crunch.
I don't think you hear the crunch.
Okay. I hear that one. Crispy.
Mm-hmm. I'll break into
Tyler
one.
asked what brand? The brand is Friedel. Friedel is
So
something.
you can see inside. This one's still smoking. But everything
Nice.
cooked.
I like how you fill it. You put a good amount of filling in it.
Yeah, if you're making like a lot, then you gotta figure out how much you want to put for the filling. My gauge is always 1 teaspoon. So it's a small teaspoon like this. I usually do 1 full teaspoon per wonton.
Nice. So that was really quick. Did you all see how quick Sean made these ones? I keep wanting to say Sean.
It's either or
Sean.
because I have family. Some will say Shan, some will say Sean. My parents will say Shan. Sometimes they'll say Sean. So it's either or.
Okay.
So
Um,
if you say Shan, that's fine. And then I get some people that see my name and they say Shane. So
Shane. Okay, now that's just that one is off. But thank you, Sean, for your quick demonstration of your wonton.
no problem. Thanks for having me. Honestly, wontons is like I think next to chicken wings is one of those dishes that, as you said, it's moreish. Like you could just continuously eat it.
Yeah,
But it's so simple, so easy. It looks fancy, and you go to a restaurant, you order wontons. But I find when you go to a restaurant, order wontons, it's never satisfying enough as
yeah.
making it at
I
home.
guess he doesn't wanna bring 2 dozen again. Like if you
Yeah,
sit down in
uh,
these kind of restaurants.
yeah, and especially if you're drinking, then it's even worse because then you're gonna keep on ordering more and more and more.
Yeah. Somebody just said white oak.
Some white oak or a cold carb or a cold
Yeah.
stag.
Oh, so do you have any experience using an air fryer?
So the air fryer I have it's an instant pot. So it's the lid
Instant
that
pot,
you put
okay.
on top of the instant pot and it turns into an air fryer. I've
Oh,
used
okay.
that a few times. What I made some salmon. I haven't tried chicken in it yet, but I
Okay.
made salmon and I did sweet potatoes. So I sliced the sweet potatoes really, really thin. And when you buy it's like potato chips, but it's made out of sweet potatoes
Yeah.
and they're nice and crunchy. So I did sweet potatoes like that, and it came out pretty good. But I haven't tried chicken in it yet
Okay. Because
because I find the ins
sorry, someone just
no.
wondered like how the wontons might turn out in an air fryer.
I think they probably turn out good. I mean, I don't see why not. But the only thing is, I know with like the air fryer that I have, because you're limited to the size of the instant pot, and I think mine is only a 8 quart or a 6 quart. So you're
Okay.
limited to the amount of space you have. Whether as like some of the bigger air fryers, you pull out the basket. So it might work, but I feel you might probably have to flip it halfway through, depending
Yeah.
on how you fold it.
And then
Because I
you'll
know,
definitely have to spray it with some oil spray.
yeah, like some cooking spray or something like that. I
Yeah.
think it'll come out good because you should still get crispy, but I think it's just really you might have to check it right, and it might take more time because when I did the sweet potatoes, it took
Yeah.
more time to do the sweet potatoes than me just throwing them into the fryer and frying it, right? Because then you have to keep on checking it. Whereas you could probably put 10 wontons depending on the size of
Yeah.
your pot at a time, and you're done in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, that was you made that look so easy. Those
Thank you very
wontons.
much.
So well, thank you so much for being here and sharing your recipe, and we could definitely do something else
Yeah,
again.
for sure.
This was fun, all talking on Lyman and getting to know you a little bit more. Do you
Exactly.
want to say a little bit about your channel and um, if you have any advice for somebody who wants to start a YouTube channel?
Yeah. So my channel obviously is What's in DEPOT. So I post most of my recipes, majority of my recipes on YouTube and on Instagram. I started TikTok as well, so you can follow me on TikTok. I need some followers, people.
Yeah, I
Um,
followed you on TikTok and I like all the that's how I thought you had a little Spanish in you because I hear you using a lot of Spanish music.
uh, a little bit, but more so I like to just try like different songs to go with the different recipes as
Yeah,
well
I
too.
like the reggaeton vibe.
Mhm. Yeah, so my channel, I try to come out with videos every week, probably once a week. Usually on a Thursday, I'll drop a new video. Sometimes maybe on a Tuesday, but most of the times of recently, with everything going on, it's been Thursday, so every time it's a different recipe. Um, if you like different kinds of food, like if you like your Trinidadian food, but also like to try different types of barbecue. I think I did a pulled pork a couple weeks ago. Um, and what I tried to do too is like, for instance, like barbecue, where it'd be a typical like Southern American recipe. I'll try to throw in like some of our own ingredients, like with the dry rub, I'll put a little bit of scorpion pepper powder or seasoning into it just to give it a little bit of our flavor. Or I did Trini style smoke ribs. So with the ribs, I actually seasoned it with lots of green seasoning and mustard, and then I smoked it for about 4 hours. So there's a recipe like that. So yeah, that's my channel. It's just a little bit of everything, a mix mash, a little bit of Caribbean food, Latin food, Southern food, typical your classic Trinidadian food and Asian food.
Cool. Well, whenever I'm in
And
Florida, whenever you're in Texas, we definitely had a bubble up pot or something.
for sure. Oh, and the other question you asked was, if you're gonna start a channel, I think someone asked me this too when I did it with when I did a Instagram live with Chris from Caribbean Pod. To be honest, just do it. Yeah, I was at the point where everybody tell me, oh, you know, you should open a restaurant, you should do this, you should do that. But then
Yeah.
for me, it was more so I like to cook. My background itself is social media marketing, brand marketing, working for companies like that. That's like my profession then. So
Okay.
I kind of understood social media. And then if everybody didn't know, I'm a DJ. So what got me into social media was promoting myself as a DJ and trying to grow my DJ brand. So when everybody's like, oh, you should do this, you should do that, I'm like, you know what? Let me just start cooking. And I
Yeah.
started making, I think my very first recipe, and it was probably about 2 years, maybe almost 3 years ago now, was green seasoning. Was the
Okay.
first thing I made. It was the very first thing I made was green seasoning, because if you're gonna do Trinidad cooking, that's the first thing you need to know what
Yeah.
to
The
add to
basic.
your food. That's
Yeah.
the basics. So yeah, so I started doing that, and I guess with YouTube, it's one of those things where you might put out a video and you're like, oh, it didn't do well, but be consistent. That's what I learned from even speaking to you and getting tips from you and other creators like Chris, on just being consistent and continuously putting out content. And you have to be yourself. For me,
Yeah.
I just try to be myself. Like you'll if you put out videos, you might get some criticism. Of course, you can
Yeah.
get criticism. I know I did a few recipes and people like, that's not how you make this. That's not how you make
Yeah.
palori. That's not how you make corn soup.
But
But it's
yes,
the
you
way
don't have any videos up there.
exactly. Everybody like to tell you how to make something, but they don't make it. But
Yeah.
it's in a way, it's like you don't take on the criticism. You just have to keep on pushing out that content. And like I did a flaming hot Cheetos chicken tenders, and I did that maybe about a year ago.
Okay.
And after I came put it out, it didn't have no views. And I was like, all right, whatever. I went back and I looked a year later, it has almost I think 15,000 views. So like you never know when your stuff is gonna pick up, you just that one video that's gonna boost
Yeah.
your all your other videos. So if you plan on doing it, just go ahead and do it. I mean, there's no exact way to say this is how you do it and this is how you don't do it. Just keep on pushing out content, and the more
Everyone,
content you push out.
yeah, everyone has their own unique little thing they bring to YouTube or to wherever they post.
Hmm.
So, you may have something that's unique that draws people in. I might have something unique that people like also. So everyone has their own little thing that they bring, and
Yeah, and I think,
that's beautiful.
I, but I think that's a good thing about YouTube. Like for instance, you have your style of cooking. Even I noticed this as I got older. Like the different parts of Trinidad you're from, everybody cooks the same thing a little bit different. So
Yeah,
like though you have your style of cooking, right? And then like for instance, I might learn a certain way because that's the way my grandmother teach my parents to
down and
cook
brandy.
from. Yeah, so it's just kind of like wherever part of the island you're from. So
Yeah,
it's always like even the way you make your curry is different than the way I make my curry, but it's
yeah,
what you could appreciate from everybody else's recipe. So if you have a certain way of making your food that your parents teach you how to make this food, it's
yeah.
not right or wrong, because I mean, obviously
It's how you
somebody
were
teaches
taught.
them,
Yeah.
yeah, and somebody teach them. So yeah,
Yeah.
so I think if you're a new creator, just continue creating and don't let anything discourage you. That's my
That's
advice.
good advice.
And I mean, you don't even have to be on camera. Like you could just
Yeah,
kind of be behind the scenes. Like if you see my videos, I talk at the beginning, and then I just do the kind of overhead shot of everything.
yeah,
For me, that's the way I like to do it. But you know, there's some people like if you look at like Tasty or some of those BuzzFeed videos, you never see anybody, or even like
yeah.
some of the Foodie
Those
Nation
short,
videos.
those short overhead videos.
Yeah, and you never see anybody. So, you know, you don't actually have to be a personality to create
Yeah,
videos, especially if you might be shy or you just don't want to show your face. You know, just go ahead and just start creating and start putting out stuff because everybody's gonna eventually learn to like it or will like it because they'll be like, oh, they made, you know, their stew this way and I never tried that. So
yeah,
I think sometimes people don't I seen a comment the other day. They're like, "Oh, this is not how Trini peoples make food." I'm like, because sometimes my video, I don't have the strongest Trini accent when I do my videos, like when I do my voiceovers,
yeah.
because I just try to keep it very general. And I think I talk
So
in
that
I
anybody around the world could understand you.
well that and the thing is, and my wife is calling my radio voice, so she's like,
Oh,
"Oh, you." So if I go in like a drive-through, she says, "Oh, why do you talk to the people at the drive-through like you're on the radio, or you're talking to them like you're DJing at a club?" So for me, is I guess maybe once I put a mic in front of me, like my tone changes, so I just
okay.
talk very general and easy to kind of understand. So I think sometimes people will be like, "Oh, he's not Trinidadian. He don't know what he cooking. He
Hmm.
just trying Trinidad recipes." So it's funny to see that because I'm like, yo, I was born in Trinidad.
Yeah. Yeah, like a lot of people judge you very quickly without knowing anything about you. So they see
Mhm.
like a little 4 minute clip or a 5 minute clip on YouTube and they're quick to judge you, but they don't know anything about you. So
Yeah,
I get that
exactly.
often also.
Well, I mean, you're still one like I guess when you started, there wasn't much other Caribbean creators at the time, so you probably got a lot more people judging you because they're like, "Oh, what is this?
I
This
guess
girl
a
feels
lot.
she could
I guess
cook."
a lot. Yeah. When you're doing this, you just have to learn how to see things from other people's perspective and understand that maybe they just don't, they just not open. Like I noticed a lot of people, like the other day I hashtag Trini to the bone and something when I was in
Mhm.
Austin and I hashtag Trini to the bone and I got criticized for that. Somebody told me that I was bashing America because I hashtag Trini to the bone.
You're
So
still
I just,
Trinidadian at the end of the day.
yeah, I was like, well, I was born in Trinidad, so of course I'm Trini to the bone.
Mhm.
So yeah,
It's interesting. It's interesting the comments you read, and
yeah,
then it's like even I made pastel for Christmas, and then people were like, I saw some people like, "Oh, this is not how you make pastel," and this, and I was like, "But this is how I learned how to make pastel.
you know
This is my
what?
recipe."
You know what? Like, I would love to see like all the original recipes in a vault somewhere in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm sure it's hidden in a vault somewhere where there are all the original recipes with the people who created them. Because I don't think I've
Hmm.
ever seen like a original recipe to say you have to put this and you have to put that. I think it's based on personal preference and how things were
Hmm.
traditionally done. But it's how you put your own little spin to it. So each family has their own recipe of what a traditional dish is, how they make a
I
traditional dish.
I think the closest thing we'll get to the vault is the Naprima cookbook.
Yeah,
Like that would be the closest thing to like I think the end all and be all of Trinidad recipes. Like I think that's where even if you probably didn't never know how to cook, that's kind of where a lot of people go to. Like even for me, sometimes certain things I'll be like, I just need a reference because I haven't cooked it in a long time, so I'll just pull out the Naparima book just to double check.
yeah, yeah. They have some good recipes. That was one of the first cookbooks my mom bought me when I was
Hmm.
when she noticed that I like to cook. She bought me that.
Yeah, I think we have like three different versions. We have like the original, one of the original ones. We have another version, and then the newer one actually has calorie, like it tells you the calories per
Okay.
meal. So it's interesting when you see doubles and Pelori and you're like, oh, that's how much calories it is.
Yep.
You're allowed to have a cheat day every once in a while.
Yeah, true. I haven't had doubles in a while, so I could feel our double day coming on.
Is there lots of Trinidadian places in Houston?
Yeah, we have a few. They're like spread out all over. But
Mm.
yeah, we have a few. There's Butter di Roti, there's J&D's. There are a few, like about five or six.
On Tampa, there's not a lot of actual Trinidadian. Like, there's a lot of Western, there's a lot of Jamaican places. Um, there is maybe about 4 or 5 actual Trinidadian restaurants, and there's a few food trucks, Trinidadian food trucks coming up. If
Okay.
you want majority of like that typical like West Indian food, a lot of people just go Orlando because
Yeah.
Orlando has a lot of Guyanese, has a lot of Trinidadians. There's lots of roti shops. And like if you want that like, that New York style Chinese, Guyanese style Chinese food, a lot of people end up going to Orlando. So if I have any, like my cousin coming from Orlando, I'll be like, just go by the roti shop and bring back like a bag of doubles when you come in.
When I went to Tampa, I went to a place called, I think it was Tara's Roti Shop. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
that's like the original. I think that's like the original Trinidadian specifically roti shop in Tampa.
Okay, because when I walked in, I feel like I was transported back home. Like
Hmm.
everything inside reminded me of home.
Yeah, that one's right by Busch Gardens as well.
Yeah, it was right opposite Busch Gardens. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, that's like there's not a lot of them like that on this side, but it's growing. But I think the Trinidadian community specifically and the Caribbean community in Tampa it's growing more because I think a lot more people coming up from up north or maybe South Florida
yeah.
and just moving down to this side.
Okay, cool. Well, I definitely have to make my way down there. I
Hmm.
was supposed to be in Florida this year, this summer, but because of COVID, I didn't come. But yeah, I'll definitely be there on a road trip.
For sure, that'd be.
Maybe in the next few months once everything opens up.
Yeah, here stuff is opening up, but a little too fast because the numbers
Yeah.
keep on going up.
Yeah, I saw in the news that Florida opened up today, right?
It's so it's been like a progression, but I think us opening up, like I think bars now are at 50% or clubs are at 50%. Me personally, I think that's still too soon, but
Yeah,
I mean, I
definitely.
don't really care to go to a club with a mask on.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I just gonna chill and cook at home, and then when everything good to go, then I'll be out
Yeah. Yeah.
liming.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let me not keep you back. Go enjoy your wonton.
I know. I'm gonna fry
It's
some
getting
more and then
cold.
sit down
It's getting
and
cold.
watch some TV. Nah, that's all right.
Well, thank you so much again, Sean. I really appreciated that you took time to join the live today and that you shared your recipe with us. We definitely have to do this next time, do a little old talk again.
Yes,
And
for sure. We definitely have to do it again. Next time, it'll be the opposite way around. You could make some doubles. Or actually,
okay,
I'll follow along because doubles, is one thing I still haven't perfected. I could
okay.
anything else, I'm good. I figure out how to make pylori and stuff, but my doubles still don't come out like roti shop doubles or like
The good thing,
on the
one
side of
thing
the road
about
doubles.
the thing about doubles is you have to have like you have to watch somebody do it, I think.
Yeah,
So maybe if you watch me do it, that might work out
it's
for
like
you.
making roti. You have to kind of get
Yeah.
the eye of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you practice makes perfect.
Well, I'll probably go back and look at some of your videos as well,
Yeah.
and try out a few before we do the next live with some doubles.
Okay, cool. So to everyone watching, make sure you all go subscribe to Sean on YouTube right now. Go hit the subscribe button and show him some love in his comments and go spam his like button. Go comment on his Instagram, follow him on Instagram, follow him on Facebook, and show him some love.
Thank you very much. And if you need music, you could follow my DJ page at
Yeah.
DJ Trinishata. I'm a DJ. I DJ on SiriusXM, as well as I have a lot of podcasts and stuff. So if you ever just need any music, soca, reggae, reggaeton, hip hop, R&B, whatever it is, just check out my Instagram, my DJ Instagram, and I have a link to all my mixes on there as well.
Nice. Cool. All
So
right.
thank you very much for having me.
Well, thank you for being here.
I appreciate it. And thanks for everyone that tuned in. I couldn't get to see all the comments. I've seen
Yeah.
some here and there, but definitely I'll go back and when you post the thing, I'll probably post it on my social media channels as well, so everybody can go back and look at it if you missed it.
Okay, cool. Well, Thanks again to everyone who joined, and thanks, Sean. We'll chat
Thank
soon. And
you.
tell your
Have
wife
a good
thanks for
weekend.
being the camera woman. Bye.
All right, I will. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.